name is Ken Masson. I am the president of the Rotary Club of World Disability Advocacy. And we are a club that works on a global level for the human rights for people with disabilities. And we have people from 25 countries in the club at this point. We're growing rapidly, and like I said, we work on human rights issues around the world, advocacy for human rights issues for people with disabilities. And a little later on, I'll give you an address you can write to if you're interested in getting involved. Today, we have with us one of our honorary club members, Dr. Rimpi from India. And welcome, Dr. Rimpi, to the show today.
Thank you. Thank you,
Dr. And why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, thank you, Ken. Before I proceed to introduce myself, I would like to thank you for providing me this platform to share my insights on disability and inclusion and higher education. Hi, everybody. I am Dr. Rimpi Arora, a disability rights advocate and the president of Rotary Club of Positive Ability, India. I am also an honorary member of the Rotary World Disability Advocacy Group, and Ken is the president of that group. And I have been associated with several NGOs working in the field of disability to promote accessibility and inclusion. And currently, I have been engaged in the film project that is Rab Di Awaz, and it is India's first multi-inclusive film. So yeah, thank you. Looking forward to engaging discussion. Over to you, Ken.
Great, thank you. I'm looking forward to the discussion. We did a inclusive education summit, which Dr. Rimpi was involved in last October, and we got a little bit into higher education, but not enough.
Yeah.
And so you're going to kind of help us go through that. So, and you just went through that yourself, kind of. I mean, you just recently got your doctorate degree within the last year. Is that correct? You did. Okay. So
Yes.
you're quite familiar with the process.
Yes.
So and we're going to focus today on India. But a lot of what you're going to say too is something that hopefully encourage people around the world to research how to go about it in their own country. So in India, we're talking about the colleges and universities. Are they both private and public colleges and universities there?
Yes, in India, it has both public and private institutions offering higher education. Public university or colleges are funded by the government, while private institutions operate independently. So we have both.
Okay. So I guess we're focusing on the public schools when I ask this question, but correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
Does the government pay in full or partially pay for the education for people with disabilities in the public schools?
In India, the government of India provides partial financial assistance to both educational institutions and directly to the student with disability for their education through various schemes, such as to support educational institutions. There is one scheme, namely Scheme for Implementation of Person with Disability Act. Under this scheme, the government of India provides grants to educational institutions to create accessible learning environment, and it include under accessible learning environment, it includes like to install ramps, elevators, accessible washroom, assistive technology such as screen reader, braille material, and other infrastructure facilities. So when it comes to the student with disability, government is offering scholarships to them to pursue their higher education. So there are total 6 schemes earlier, and it has been merged into one umbrella scheme, and it is known as Scholarship for Students with Disabilities. And under this scheme, there are total 6 schemes, which are as follow. I would mention the name of those fellowships or the scholarships. under which the students get fund from or financial assistance from the government of India. And the first one is free metric scholarship. And for under this schemes, classes 9th and 10th is covered, which covers tuition fees, books, and other essential expenses. Next is post matric scholarship, and under this, the government India covered +1, +2, diploma courses, undergraduate courses, and postgraduate courses. And under this scheme, it covers tuition fees and maintenance costs. Moving further, I would like to mention the third scheme. It is the important scheme, which provide the professional education to the student. It is known as top class education scholarship, and it is given to graduate and postgraduate students studying in the institution that is recognized by the Department of Empowerment of Persons with Disabilities. Moving further, this is one of the very important scheme where people are not aware about it. This is National Overseas Scholarship. This scheme, the government provide scholarship to the student who wanted to pursue their master's and PhD program in foreign universities. So many of the people are not aware, including especially the student with disability, if they wanted to study overseas, and government is there to provide the full funded fellowship to them for pursuing their master's and PhD program. And there is another scheme, that is National Fellowship for Persons with Disability, which provide fellowship for pursuing PhD. And those students who wanted to have their PhD degree, and I actually had this availed this fellowship during my days. And now these days the government has merged it with the UGC, and it provides full funded, that is equal amount, which is for UGC net. UGC Net JRF is another exam that student who wants to get into PhD, the government provide fellowship, and it is the equal amount that has been covered for the person with disability under this fellowship. And the last is free coaching scheme. Under this scheme, the government provides financial aid to the coaching programs to help the student to prepare for their competitive exams and professional courses. So these are the six schemes that have been covered under umbrella scheme, namely scholarship for student with disability. And all these schemes are specifically for student with disability to pursue their education in India. But there are various limitations under these schemes. These schemes have the major concern regarding the adequacy of funding, and in many cases, the amount provided under these fellowships is not covering full tuition fees or assistive devices or living expenses. So, what the students feel that they seek for additional financial aid from NGOs or other organizations. So, I would like to highlight here my own club, that is Positive Ability Club, in collaboration with Rotary Chandigarh Shwalik. It is providing or supporting the student with visual impairment in their higher education for the past 7 years. And to date, we have provided 200 fellowships and laptops to the students. And among these recipients, I would like to mention and quote that 50 students who have scored, who have recipient of the fellowship that is given by our club in collaboration with RCA. They are now working in government sector like banking and education sector. So, and many of them are currently pursuing their master's and doctoral degree. So I feel that the financial support has played crucial role in empowering students with disability and enabling them to achieve their academic and professional success. So these are the number of the scheme that I have mentioned above. And I also mentioned that our club is also in this line, and we are providing fellowship to the student with visual impairment to pursue their higher education. So thank you. Over to you, Ken.
Okay, a lot of information there. So, is
Yeah.
this available? These scholarships and fellowships and all that, are they all available whether you go to a public or private
Yes.
school? Or it is okay. And
Yeah.
so, now you mentioned your club in here. So,
Yes.
are you encouraging those people who are watching to
Yeah.
get in touch with your club, and you will help them out.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay. All right. So at some point we need to know how to get in touch. I'll give out the Rotary Club, my Rotary Club, or our
Yeah.
Rotary Club, I should say, address. But I mean, people want to get in touch with you and find out more about it.
Okay.
Where, what is your club's email address?
Okay.
Your email, the club. What is it?
I'll share the email ID with you, Ken, later, or otherwise they can contact me on Rimpi Arora, RIMPI
Okay.
double 008 at gmail.com.
Okay. Can you say it one more time again so that people can write it down?
Okay. RIMPI
Okay. Yeah.
ARORA 008 at gmail.com.
Okay. So you're
Yeah.
they'll write to you, and you're gonna guide them through this. What might be any of these 6 areas that might be good for them? Is that what you do?
Yeah, I can guide them.
Okay, that's
And
good.
there is full-fledged document is available on the government website regarding these fellowship. And with this, I would also like to mention that there is national scholarship portal where the information of all these schemes are available. And under the on this website, it also mentioned what is it is going to be open and what is the time limit for filling those forms also.
Okay, good.
So the website name is National Scholarship Portal.
All right, because you have 6 different areas here, and are they
Yeah.
all found in one location, or do you have to?
Yes.
You can't
Yes.
find them in one page. Okay, good.
Yeah, that
And
is National Scholarship Portal.
you may or may not have an answer to this question, but well, let me ask this question first. So then they
Okay.
got all these programs, and so now what is the qualifications for applying for any of these? And I guess what I'm getting to
Yeah.
is what is considered a disability.
Okay. So for eligibility for these scheme is the first is that it is open to all Indian national, and second is that all persons with disability must be having 40% or more than that disability as per it is defined in Rights of Person with Disability Act. That means if the person is having 40% or more than that, they are eligible for these fellowship. And third aspect is they should have disability certificate, Aadhaar card based biometric authentication, and unique disability ID enrollment. That is that those people who are not having these identity cards, because government in India are able to assess and provide specific unique disability identity card to the student with disability or the persons with disability to avail the benefits in India. So these are the conditions that is mandatory. The first one is that person should be the national one, Indian, and second is that person is must be having 40% or more than disability as per the law, that is Rights of Person with Disability Act 2016. And third is they should have valid certificate of disability that is issued by the competent authority.
Okay, so
Yeah.
then somewhere there must be either a list or a general definition of what a disability is in India. Yeah,
Yes.
okay,
Yes.
and then you're saying you have to get certified. Is that correct?
Yes.
So
Yes.
its certification says, okay, this is a qualified disability.
Yes, yes. There is
Because,
a process of getting the certification from the competent authority.
okay, okay, good. Because not all, although there are many things that could qualify a disability, not all governments necessarily recognize all of them. For
Uh,
example, stroke. If you had a
yeah,
stroke, that
yeah,
may or may
yeah,
not be recognized as a disability, for example.
yes. In India, there are total 21 disability has been recognized under Rights of Person with Disability Act. And those 21 disability people are eligible for availing any benefits.
Okay, so
Yeah.
uh, and the public school, the public
Mhm.
colleges and universities,
Hmm.
I imagine that the tuition for that is lower than the private schools. Is that correct? Because the government is going to
Uh,
subsidize it. Is that correct?
Pardon? Can you repeat?
The public universities and
Yeah.
colleges.
Yes.
And my experiences with the United States, but the public schools are the tuition is lower than the
Okay.
private schools. But you're saying you
Okay.
can qualify for any of these scholarships or whatever,
Yeah.
even if you go to a private school, correct?
Yeah. They can avail this whether they are studying in public or private institutes. They are eligible for those schemes or fellowships. That
Okay,
doesn't matter in which institutions they are studying.
okay. So,
Yeah.
number one, we're going to take a look. The people are going to take a look at these things that you just listed, or get in touch with you,
Yeah.
and figure out if hopefully they can qualify for any of these
Okay.
and help subsidize the cost. But they're still going to have to pay something to go to the school,
Yeah.
correct? All right. So it's
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
free. It has to be. There still has to be tuition paid.
Yes.
Okay. And then I assume, like in any country, there's. I'm getting to the fact if I'm a
Okay.
person with disabilities and my income is extremely low, is there
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
there additional help for them
Yes.
on the cost
Yes.
for
Yes. In
income?
in some fellowship, the income criteria is there. Like for this national fellowship for person with disability to pursuing their PhD, there is not much financial criteria is there. So that is the case.
So
Majority of the schemes having financial criteria.
so it's quite possible for a poor person with disabilities, or a low income person, I should say, a low income
Yes.
person with disabilities could still go to college and a university, have a higher
Yes.
education. Okay.
Yes.
So, and you could help them out, guide them on that too, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because to me, it's important that everybody has an opportunity who does have that opportunity to go on to higher education. If the
Yeah.
opportunity is there, my guess is based on some of the things you said, a lot of these things are
Hmm.
not known by people that they're available to
Yes.
them. Is that correct?
Yes. That is lack of awareness is there.
Okay, so that's important that we can, we're doing that today, getting the word out. So, um, is applying for higher education as a person with disabilities any different than somebody without a disability?
No, the admission process is generally same for all, including the student with disability. But the only thing is they are having reservation. The Indian government has fixed 5% seats reserved for student with disability. And without like there are some institutions that also give relaxation in age, admission criteria, and entrance exam scores as well. So this is
Okay,
there.
okay.
Yeah.
So I imagine on many of the applications, they must ask the question, do you have a disability?
Okay.
Does it ask that question? Do you remember that when you applied? Does there a question on the application for the school that says, do
Yes.
you have a disability?
Yes, yes. There is a proper column is there that you need to mention that which disability you are having. And there is another column that do you need any scribe facility during your examination also. So these are the two conditions that are mentioned in the form in some institution. But one column is perfectly there is there that is type of disability you are having. So it is in all forms.
Okay, so and so I think it's important for people to understand that's not to discriminate against you. It's to
Yes,
provide you with the needs that you have with that disability. Is that correct? It's a positive thing to fill that out, not
yes.
negative.
But
Because
in
I know,
implementation, real challenges lies.
okay, because a lot of people will
Yeah,
be, well, I don't want to disclose this,
yeah,
and because, and I know that you do that. It's a question always on a job application: do you disclose or not disclose?
yes,
But
yes,
in this case, it's a positive to disclose it. Correct.
yes,
Okay.
yes,
Um, and I imagine you would have to, for example, if you have a intellectual disability,
yeah,
such as autism, you would have to be certified. You would
yes,
have to be assessed to have this.
yes,
You
yes,
can't basically say I have autism, even though you probably do, but you have not gone for proper assessment.
Yes, yes. So it is mandatory for people with disability to get the unique disability ID card to avail all the benefits of government of India.
Okay. So
Without that, they cannot.
in the secondary schools, do they assess the students whether they have autism or not?
Yeah, in schools there is a provision under this Act, Rights of Person with Disability Act. Now the government of India has mandatory for the special educators in schools. So initiatives have been taken by the government of India and the regulatory authorities. So there are special educators who assess the students.
Okay. Because
Yeah.
I know in a lot of countries that's a barrier because it's
Okay.
expensive. It's expensive to get it
Yes, it is
assessed.
expensive.
And like dyslexia, it's expensive to get
Ji.
the assessed that you have dyslexia. Okay. So in most
Yeah.
cases, people going to higher education have already been assessed and have some sort of a certification for that or certificate.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So therefore, then I'm going to fill it out and say, yes, I have whatever I have as a disability and not be afraid of that.
Yeah.
And well, people are. People say, well,
Yes.
why do they want to know this? Am I going to disclose it and that's going to lessen my chances
Yeah.
of
I
getting into
agree.
school? So I'm sure they debate on that, whether to do it or not.
Yes.
sadly. But
The
I
role
want to
of
make,
parents comes here.
say it again.
The role of parents comes here. Sometimes parents are not willing to tell that their ward is not having disability, or they do not want to disclose the disability of their ward or child. So that is
Yeah.
the case also.
And I can understand that there's many things that would pressure somebody not to disclose it, but
Yes.
in this case, it's a good thing, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So, what uh, what laws may be in effect to make sure that somebody applying for higher education is not discriminated against?
I agree that there is a strong legal framework is there in India to prevent the discrimination in education. The Rights of Person with Disability Act 2016, which mandate that nobody should be discriminated. And there is a University Grant Commission's guideline for universities and colleges to ensure inclusivity. But the problem is, again, I would say that it lies in implementation. Many students face difficulty during their admission because of that faculty members or the institutions are not aware about how to deal with them if they get admitted or they get enrolled in the institution. So that is the biggest problem in India.
Okay, and oftentimes too, discrimination is hard to prove.
Yes,
If you were rejected for the college and you feel you were discriminated against, it's sometimes hard to
yes,
prove that. Yeah. So sorry, I got
yes,
my water on the ground here. I'm not disappearing. um, so, um, but there are laws there, and good to know that there are laws there. So the bottom line is, it is to move forward. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid.
yeah.
And so, um, what kind of accommodations are required of the schools in India for people with disabilities?
Like other countries or likewise all across the world, I would say that institution India are also required to provide the accessible infrastructure, which include ramp, accessible washroom, tactile pathways, furniture, everything. And another aspect is assistive technology like screen reader, braille material, audiobooks. Sign language interpreters are essential in each and every institution. Exams, accommodation, which provide extra time, scribe facility, and other alternative assessment format must be there. And one of the important aspect, that is teacher training and sensitization program for them to understand and support the student needs. So I feel that accessible infrastructure, assistive technology, exam accommodation, and one of the most aspect, teacher training or the employees training in the institutions, so that they should sensitize towards the needs of people with disability.
get back to that in 1 second. I'm going to take 1 minute here
Yeah,
just to
yeah.
do a little advertisement here. I got the wrong thing up, so hold on.
Okay,
There we go. Um,
okay,
oh, I still don't have a typo in there. I thought I fixed it.
okay.
So if you like what we're talking about here, we're doing many more things.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
Rotary Club of
correct.
World Disability Advocacy. So anybody who's
Yes,
interested and wants to get involved in what we're doing, India is one part of the world, and
yeah,
we cover the entire world. So we invite you to write to us and say, I'd like
yeah.
to get involved in the club and the activities. So let me read it out: RotaryWDA, and it should say Gmail
Yeah.
and .com, but it doesn't. So just if you're interested in finding out more about what we're doing here, and before we leave again, Dr. Rimpi, I want you to give your email, but not yet. I write at the
Okay,
end so people can write it down, but they can reach you either way by writing to us,
oh,
or you and I are both. You're involved with your own club in India,
yeah.
but you're also what we call an honorary member of the Rotary Club of World Disability Advocacy. Um, so let's see, we were just talking about the discrimination. So I imagine it varies. No, we weren't talking about discrimination. Yes, we were. So you're making sure you weren't on accommodations. Accommodations, that's what we're talking
Yeah, yeah,
about.
yes.
So I imagine it varies school to school on which ones are better than the others as far as accommodations. Is there somewhere where you can find that out?
Okay. So there are some institutions that are providing disability friendly infrastructure. And before choosing the right institution, it is very important that they should check for accessibility, like what kind of the support they would get while get entry into that institution. They should visit to the campus before getting enrolled, and they should also talk or connect with the current students with disability and take their feedback, what kind of the facilities there are available. And they also must check that every that institution must have disability cell, which is the mandatory by the university grant commission. So I would like to give example here, like in Punjab University, in North India, if I would say that covering three states, Punjab, Haryana, Chandigarh, many of the students with disability are enrolled in Punjab University instead of the number of institutions in the neighboring state. Why they, when I conducted my study and I got to know that Punjab University is providing more facilities as compared to the neighboring state. So these are the things that they should look at
Okay.
before. Yeah,
And I would imagine too, it's okay because they're gonna.
yeah,
It's been a long time since I've gone to school.
yeah,
So I don't quite remember the admissions process. But they
okay,
interview you, right? They interview you, or they
yeah.
select you. Do you get an interview when you go for?
No, there is a process now. These days, it is everything is online, so it is very easy to connect with the people also.
Oh, okay. Because the point I was getting to is, so you must at some point been able to ask them, what kind of accommodations do you have there? Correct.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
And um, is it when you go for a job interview, you there's at least in the United States, there's laws about what they can ask you about your disability. I assume the same thing in the college process, applying for
yeah.
college, right?
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
is that, I would think so.
But
Yeah.
in no, no. In case of India, if you want to avail the like benefits, you need to disclose your disability, whether it is in the education sector or it is in the employment sector.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right. So you
you need to
disclose it,
disclose.
but okay. And I'm confusing it with job interviews too, because when you go to a job interview, somebody would ask you more questions. So I think your
Yeah.
best thing is do your homework from what you're saying. But I think you
Hmm.
also made a good point. Go visit the campus and
Yes.
take a look around. And
Yes.
depending on your particular type of disability, to make sure that
Yeah.
there's some sort of accommodations there for you. Yeah.
Yes. By connecting here, why I am saying this, because there are many students that I got connected. They got admission in Punjab University just because they come to know that our friends are studying there, and they told us that this university is providing more benefits than benefits than other institutes. So that's why I put it in that way. That person should visit and connect with the students, those who are studying there.
Okay. And the professors there, it's hard to really research them too much to make sure that they're um, understanding of different types of abilities. I imagine that's less so in the higher education than in the secondary
Yes,
education.
yes,
That there are
correct.
teachers there, yeah. But
Yeah, correct.
uh, yeah, but um, that certainly is something that they'll learn. you know. um, I mean, for example, I think people with cerebral palsy are oftentimes misunderstood, and the teacher could totally misunderstood somebody with cerebral palsy if they didn't understand them. But
Yeah,
that, you know, it's a challenge, and but it's something that certainly can be overcome.
yeah,
Okay, so basically, your message is, if you want to go to higher education, there are ways to do it,
yeah,
and you got to get yourself informed on how to do it. There are ways to
yeah,
do it that will help accommodate you with your disability. There's a
yeah,
ways of doing it that will help you accommodate you with your income level. Is that
yeah,
correct?
yes.
So, um, so what is your advice for somebody who's in secondary school right now and they have a disability and they are considering going to higher education? What is your advice for them?
Okay. The first thing is that I would mention as a disability rights advocate that they should know about their rights, what are their rights to be in the education, and they can demand that accommodation while getting into that institution. That is the first advice that every person with disability must be aware about their rights. Second is they can apply for the scholarship to reduce the financial burden and to cover up the educational cost. And they should also search for the various NGOs, those who are supporting or providing financial aid to them. Third, they can build a networks with peers, or peers, so that they can support them during their examination and they can help them. And the last but not least, that every person should believe in themselves or himself or herself to overcome all the challenges. So I believe, before I end up this answer, I would say that education is one of the most powerful tools for empowerment. So, if we have the right resources and determination, every student, regardless of its disability, can achieve their academic and professional goals. So, this is my advice to them that they should
Very
believe in
good.
themselves.
Very good. Um,
Yeah.
don't let things stop you for sure. Or people stop you
Okay.
for sure either. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah.
Because you've got to, as you say, believe in yourself. Before we close
Yes.
off, let's talk a little bit about your club. Tell me again where it's located.
Yeah. They will.
Your club is an online club, or is it for
No,
in
it's
person?
not online. It's
It's in
not
person.
online. It's, yeah, in-person club, and we are trying that it should be expanded further also.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I'm getting to the point that if anybody wants to join your club, they can do it.
Okay.
How can they do
Okay.
that? How can they join your club?
You want to join my club?
I would love to join your club, but I can't go in person because I'm far away
Yeah.
from you. But I'm just saying,
So you
anybody, if somebody is interested in your club and they
okay?
want to
Those
become
who
a
are
member,
interested,
how
yeah.
are they going to do that? They're going to write to you and say, "Oh, I want to
Okay,
be."
they can call me or they can search me on social media and just get connected with me, and we will be get in touch with them.
Okay. And I know
Yeah.
all your members, I think, have disabilities. Is that true?
Yes, that
But
is the
that's not a
first.
requirement, though. That's not a requirement.
No, we are preferring because it is India's first person with disability club. So we all members are with disability, and we are preferring that people with disability should come forward and they join us and they take the legacy whatever we are doing today. They should take that legacy forward.
Okay. And you meet
Yeah.
once a week? Do you meet once a week or once a month or what?
No, we usually have contact each other during through online meetings. We prefer online meetings, but sometimes we get the time to because all are working. So that is the biggest hurdle. They all are working.
Okay. And
Yeah.
um, and you do most of what you do is supporting people with disabilities. Your club, correct?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay, that's outstanding.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, once again, if somebody wants to get in touch with you regarding anything that you talked about today, or
Yeah.
possibly to get join your club, how are we going to reach you?
They can directly contact me on my email ID. That is RIMPI ARORA 008 at gmail.com.
Okay,
Or they may can contact with they can contact you and I'll be there.
yeah, let me bring up mine, but even with the typo.
Yeah.
But tell me again, though, can you slowly again tell me your email because people like me who have no attention span now.
Okay. So may I repeat my email ID?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. RIM for mother, P for parrot, I for ink, ARORA 008 at gmail.com.
Okay.
So I'll put in the chat if it is needed.
If you can do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how you do it, but go ahead.
Yeah.
So, thank you for all this
Yeah.
information. Thank you for what you're doing, also your club, with your club doing for people with disabilities. And we're glad to have you in our club, which is the Rotary Club Rotary Club of World Disability Advocacy. And we're global,
Yeah.
we're virtual, we're everywhere, and we're going to eventually be everywhere. We're growing every day. So
Yeah.
if you want to get involved in our club, again, let me pull up the.
But thank you so much for believing in me and providing me this platform.
No,
And
this is
definitely I will stay in touch with this
okay.
club and I will continue my work with this club.
Okay, much appreciate that. And we've got much more inclusive education stuff coming up in the next year. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you, everybody. It much appreciate you watching us, and hope you. I know you gained something from it, and hopefully we encouraged you if you're thinking about going to school, higher education. Please do. Okay. Have a good day,
Yeah.
everybody. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you so much.